Bleach Bros podcast is proud to align itself with Jerky Pro, a beef jerky manufacturer established by military and paramilitary veterans.
Available in 3-ounce or 1-pound bags with great flavors such as honey glazed, teriyaki, red hot, apple cinnamon, original, peppered, sweet barbecue, and if you're ballsy enough, nuclear.
Be sure to use our promo code to get some of the best jerky on the market. Use Bleach Bros 5, all lowercase, to take advantage of this offer today.
What's up, Salty Hippo Nation? This is Aaron from the I Had to Say It podcast, and you are listening to the Bleach Bros podcast with B-Word and Jake. Stick around for the dirty talk, and don't forget to get sanitized.
Welcome into the Bleach Brothers podcast. As usual, this is B-Word, and not as usual, this is Jacob. How are you tonight, buddy?
Don't do that.
I'm doing it.
My mama's staying with me.
I know.
And she's the only one that does that.
And she says it when you're in trouble, and tonight you are in trouble.
No, she just says it all the time, and she tells people all the time, that's what I named him. I can call him that. I only have a few clients that do it because my business cards at first used to say that. And so... Or like, I will say this, really older clients of that generation always do because they can tell that my name is probably Jacob and it comes from Jake. So don't do that, B-Word.
I think
Jacob the hater sounds terrible.
I think there's a point to this because I think in an alternate universe, your name is probably like Jacob the Greeter or something. And instead of smiling with an open mouth, you actually use your teeth and you smile like normal people do.
I hope in an alternate universe, my name's B-Word and I'm just a big fat piece of shit. You know what I love about when you laugh, and nobody can see this, but your whole screen shakes. And it's like you're in a jolly room.
I am in a jolly room.
A big old jolly man.
Jolly room.
Oh, alternate universes.
Yeah, so speaking of some alternate universe shit, there's a lot going on in the MCU right now. Obviously, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and you've got some different things and some of the Disney Plus things and whatever. And the next one coming out will come out next week, and that's going to be Thor Love and Thunder. It'll come out on July 8th. What are your initial thoughts on this?
It's going to be good and disappointing. Because I think they're really, just like Thor Ragnarok did, they're really trying to pave the way opening the new phase in the sense of emotion, if that makes sense. Like Thor Ragnarok really opened up like the more comedy. I mean, Ant-Man did, but you know what I mean? It was more like, we're going to go space style.
It was feel good, buddy
really
comedy.
Change our characters.
Yeah.
I hate the look of the God Butcher.
Thank you.
I love that character. I love his original look. Now, I will say this. I did watch a video of a guy on YouTube, and I can't remember who it is. Sorry about that. But he posted why it's actually better that Christian Bale looks like Christian Bale, and we should care more about his acting and stuff. And I agree with that to a point. They're like, because he would probably look terrible. But let's be honest with ourselves. The MCU is not going to put out a bad looking, like if it looks garbage, they're not going to put him out. Cause like he showed like some renditions of what people thought. They're like, it looks like Majin Buu mixed with Voldemort mixed with, and it's like, of course they're not going to make it look that bad. But the argument is like, let's say Beta Ray Bill, B-Word, shows up, and instead of being his horse face self, they just make him they have, Brad Pitt play him, and they just have Brad Pitt's face. And they say, oh, well, we wanted to see his face in his acting.
See, arguments like that are stupid because Bradley Cooper plays a raccoon and Vin Diesel plays a tree.
Right.
So I don't agree with people you have to see the actor's face. You don't have to see an actor's face. I told you this when this came out. I told this to several people when this came out. But when we first saw the theatrical preview, it reminded me of Powder, that movie Powder, that really bad movie Powder.
It's not that bad of a movie.
It's actually a pretty decent movie, but I saw it so long ago that I have to cushion that because it very well could be a bad film.
Okay.
But that's what he looked like. And then people brought up Voldemort. I'm not big in the Harry Potter universe, so I get that too. But I think aside from Christian Bale, I'm pretty optimistic about it. The Christian Bale thing, they don't need to prove me wrong. Like I've accepted that that's the way that he looks. But I do like the storyline. I'm interested to see, what happens with the gods, specifically Zeus, and do they introduce Hercules and like all of that sort of lineage there. Obviously, we're going to figure out a little bit of what Thor's been doing with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which we'll get into the next.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. Have you purchased your tickets to go see it yet?
No, I'm trying to find out a timeline to go. But the other thing is, B-Word, you're saying you're excited to see where they're going to see, like with the what he's been doing with the Guardians and stuff like that. Do you feel like, though, with comic book movies that they're so convoluted, right? And the point I'm trying to make with this is one of the problems I have is Gore has a symbiotic sword.
Yeah.
Okay. From the symbiote god Null that he kills. And mind you, that's in the Sony verse.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're trying to play nice, but it's little things like that bother me too, where it's like, I know you can change it and it can't be 100% comic accurate, but it's the point too. Like, why use a character then that uses so much of something? That'd be like if Thor's hammer was owned by Sony, but Thor wasn't, and MCU made a movie with him and they didn't give him a hammer on purpose because they went, well, that's a Sony thing. It's almost to that level, and that type of stuff bothers me right now. And so
I would agree with you.
I'm really interested to see how they take care of that. Like, I am excited to see him with the gods in the story. I think this is going to be the first MCU film that ties in the TV series the best.
With Moon Knight?
Moon Knight with the gods. I really hope so. Not that they haven't tied in TV series and stuff before, and there's been Easter eggs or, cameos and stuff, but I think this is going to be the number one, like where we actually really get them closer than anything than we've seen. I love Gore's storyline. I love, he's pissed off at the gods and wants to go kill him and does a great job. And there are scenes that his character looks cool in the trailer. The other big thing I'm afraid of with disappointment, though, B-Word, is they've given away the whole damn story in the trailer.
They have.
And I feel like it's one of those movies where there's not going to be much more to it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think, if you look at it like another blockbuster like Top Gun 2, right? Maverick, you know what the premise is going to be. Like, he's training pilots, right? But you don't know what he's training them for. You don't know what the stakes are, all of that sort of stuff. So I agree with you there that Thor Love and Thunder, like, we know what the premise is. We kind of know what to expect. Recently, they actually came out with the god. I don't remember what the god's name, but the Panther god. They actually showed her in Thor Love and Thunder. So I'm hoping that they also showed the leopard god that the Atlanteans worship. Mm-hmm. So that way that can help set up Black Panther. I'm optimistic. In Feige we trust, right? Like he doesn't do 100% of everything that we're asking, but he does about 85, 90 all the time. So I'm happy with that.
He does balance fan service enough with expectations and enough formulaic ability based on the original comic premise mixed with a new age storytelling, if that makes sense. So like as you were saying, Infinity War, right? With the Infinity Gauntlet, we knew where the story's sort of going, but we didn't know how they were going to do it. So it's sort of that vein, right? Like, we know the story. We know this is also from the almighty Thor when Jane Foster becomes Thor. And for all those idiots out there who actually don't pay attention to this shit and like, oh, he's a woman now. That's a great storyline. If you haven't read it, go read it. Plus, Natalie Portman should die from cancer. So, I mean, whatever, then you get over from that.
And actually, they've talked about that's her backstory in this. I don't know if that's been verified or not, but by everything that I'm seeing, after they split up, so it's going to show kind of how they split from Thor: The Dark World to forward. In that time, she supposedly got breast cancer. So we'll see if that's true to the comic, because in the comic that was what it was, and the powers that she was given was because of she was getting healed by the ether or whatever it was. So
well, the other thing is that the one thing that people miss on that too, though, is becoming Thor kills her faster because her body is in remission when she's Thor, but her real body is not. It's still dying of cancer internally. So it almost like accentuates it, makes it go faster.
Right.
So that'd be cool. So can I ask you this? What are you hoping to see in it? Whether it's cameos, a special part of the story? Like what are the top things you're looking for in this movie, or you would like to see happen?
If I get to see Beta Ray Bill, I'd love it. I wanted to see Beta Ray Bill in Thor Ragnarok. Like, and there was that little piece of him on the tower as a previous champion. Like, okay, I get that, but I would really like to see Beta Ray Bill. I think he's a killer character, so I'd like to see that. Secondary to that, I think I would really like to see, like I said, set up the gods more, tie in the Moon Knight, tie in Black Panther, tie in the Atlanteans. I'd really like to see a lot more of that in a Thor story, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want the whole story to be them. I don't want it to be like, Black Panther 1.5, but I do want to be able to see a lot of that type of thing build up into this. What about you?
Beta Ray Bill, yeah. I think, we've been wanting him, especially when they introduced the axe. We all thought, Stormbreaker, that's a very good point to bring him in. He was fighting, and he was a champion on the building. We all thought that. I think Marvel's also been smart, though. They know we're fiending for it, and they want to make sure they get it right. So I won't be that disappointed if they don't show him, because it's like maybe they're doing it because they just can't develop it properly. I'm hoping to see Loki in some form. The one thing I'm afraid of, though, speaking of Loki, is that they're going to show us too many Thors, and it's almost going to be like the Loki room, the Loki basement in that episode where we had Alligator and all of them, And I mean, that's fun and all, but I already told you I have a problem with this whole variant thing going forward, where every movie now we're expecting, let's have Tom Cruise's Iron Man because there's a variant Iron Man, and hey, let's have 6 Iron Man, and let's talk about all of them. Like, it gets to a point where I don't need the same characters recasted. I just want new characters or good stories.
I agree.
I don't need you to keep, like, we're finding out Easter eggs in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. The Wasp was supposed to be in it. You sent me a link about that today. Like, and that's fun and all, and that's great. But it also gets to a point where, oh man, like, do we really need that? Like, we've always joked, like, Nova. We've always wanted to see him. He's supposed to be in every damn movie. It would be cool, but also, do I really care about the Nova Corps as much anymore? Probably not. No. I would love to see Silver Surfer, if I could see anybody, like, in a sense, like, not just him as a character, just an Easter egg to him, premising that maybe in the future we're going to see him when, like, he's in the space with the Asgardians of the Galaxy, right? Stuff like that. That would be cool. I think the new character to go forward with the Stan Lee cameos is Howard the Duck. I think that's the way you use it. So I would love to see something cool with him like that.
Well, but you saw that Stan Lee's family entered into an agreement with Marvel to be able to use his likeness.
Yeah,
as a cameo. But I agree with you. Howard the Duck would be killer. I love Howard the Duck. I would have liked it probably more in Multiverse of Madness, but I'm really fiending for that Deadpool cameo. I don't want to see that in this film. I think, Multiverse of Madness, you had the ability to get crazy. This one, I want it to be more grounded.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Multiverse of Madness, we were expecting it to be the multiverse and a bunch of craziness. Because let me ask you this. Would you rather see Deadpool because he's an existing character and we know he's getting a movie anyways, or would you rather see an X-Men character you haven't seen yet?
The choice between those two, I'd say neither. Okay. In this film. But more than anything else, I'd much rather love to see Deadpool over any other X-Men character.
Okay.
Same for you, or?
Mine would be an X-Men character. But again, I'd probably be pissed off at whichever one they put in there. I mean, I guess I'd just be happy with somebody like Beast, maybe just somebody that's like, okay, I know he's there. I know he's always going to be in the X-Men. Just put him over there. I'm happy.
Kind of like how E.T. showed up in Star Wars.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know. I just, I hope this one's actually more grounded. I don't think it's going to be. I think that's going to be my disappointment, is they're going to try to do too much, because I told you too, the other problem I'm having with MCU lately is you have to keep topping now, like Spider-Man or No Way Home, and you have to top Infinity War, and you have to rebuild this structure. And the best, in my opinion, one of the best ways to do it is introduce new characters, which they're doing, but we're also still trying to finalize other ones. So is this the final Thor movie, essentially? Maybe. Do we want it to be? Yeah, that's the thing. Do we want it to be? No. Yeah. I think they're going to I think it's going to be fun. I'm hoping it's also a journey of Thor finding himself, because I think they've said they were going to do that in every movie, and I still feel like he hasn't really totally done that yet.
I feel like from a storyline perspective, they intentionally fucked him up. Like the Thor movie was fine, the original one as it was. The Dark World, I mean, the Dark World gets better as they create other storylines and tie it back to the Dark World. Like it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dark World on its own is just not a good movie. And then you look at like they had Jane, now there's no Jane, now there's Jane again. I'm with you. I hope that Thor gets some sort of like roots as a character where, you know, either he stays in New Asgard and he rules New Asgard, or he goes out into space and he's just dealing with shit kind of like Captain Marvel. Like just let it be one or the other where he's got some roots. I would totally be fine with that. But I do agree with you, man. I want this to be more grounded. I want this to be a good standalone movie where, you know, you don't have to have watched the Loki series. You don't have to have watched Multiverse of Madness. You don't have to have watched Moon Knight to be able to understand it. You just understand it as it is.
If I can have a crazy theory and hear me out on this, Thor movies, if I related them to Pauly Shore movies.
Okay.
Thor 1 is Encino Man.
Okay.
Caveman Thor being introduced, has to try to, you know, get through it. Thor the Dark World is Pauly Shore's dead. Nobody's seen it. It sucks. She falls asleep. Why did it get made, right? Pauly Shore Thor 3 is Son-in-Law.
Yes.
Where he goes on an adventure. People that sort of like him, people that don't like him. Why is he there? He's got to get back home, but he's got to impress these people, make his family like him, make another family like him. And this one's going to be Biodome.
I'm totally fine with that.
And but that's how I'm equating this. Cause I mean, I like Pauly Shore films. We're not leading to Pauly Shore, but if I could do it in a crazy way, that's how I see the Thor movies line up.
So in a roundabout way, you're telling me that Infinity War, where Thor's going and getting Stormbreaker, he's a side character on a quest, is a Goofy movie with the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
The Leaning Tower of Cheesa. Exactly, dude. Because
I'm all about it.
Thor could be Pauly Shore at times, Pauly Thor. But there are times like in Encino Man, of course, he's the caveman, right? And Thor is or Pauly Shore in that movie is his Korg.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally good with it.
That's really where my mind went with this movie and how I could relate them like to an audience that might not, you know, because we get fans that tell us that listen to the show that some of them don't know what the hell we're talking about when we talk MCU. So that's an easy digestible piece for you to now understand.
That's good. Well, with that, man, you want to take a real quick break?
Yes, sir.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Date Money, and every Monday join us on every streaming service on the Bromigos podcast.
Come talk shit with your boy Panama Red.
And you better not forget me, head advocate of the Big Titty Committee and undercover brother, Motorboatin' Matt.
And me, Hoochie Daddy Sleppy.
I guess my new name is Hoochie Man Hunter.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
We talk all things sports, sex, and more. Coming to you raw and uncensored. Ain't nothing off limits.
Welcome back into the Bleach Brothers podcast. B-word, we've had a lot of crazy little talk tonight, but let's get back to our roots. Okay.
Okay.
Should
our roots be urban?
No, fuck them. You did some good social media posts for us based on old video game consoles. And, you know, like what are your favorite? How were you introduced? However you want to talk about this. But I remember some of our best times hanging out was not just, you know, Mario Kart and video games, but it was like I'd come over and we'd play shitty games like Supercross and stay up all night and then watch Terminator for boobies.
Yeah.
But if you could, and we don't have to rank them, but like, what are some of your favorite consoles and why?
So my first console was an NES, Nintendo Entertainment System.
Mine too.
I didn't have an Atari to start out with, but I did have an Atari later on. The NES was great, especially when I was playing like Ninja Turtle games. The Mario games, Duck Hunt, all of that was really good. And then all of a sudden, it felt like at that time a technology boom just started in our lives, right? Like
Right.
everything changed. So you ended up with like Super Nintendo and Sega and Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 and N64, and like it just went on this like expansion of technology. Like I don't know that there's going to be another generation of people that had the growth in video games that our generation had.
No, because they all feel the same to me now, and it's not just because I'm old, get off my lawn, but it doesn't seem much different.
Right. So to answer your question more specifically, so the most nostalgic one for me is probably the NES, just because that was my first one, right?
Okay.
My favorite one would probably be the Nintendo 64, because I had that the longest. Like I had a choice. Do you want a Nintendo 64 or do you want a PlayStation? All of my friends who had PlayStations, all the games took forever. Whereas for the Nintendo 64, I put in a cartridge. If it didn't start up, I pulled it out, I blew on it, and then I put it back in and started it and played it. I remember having all the different colored controllers, so that way when friends would come and spend the night and different things like that, we would just, get in some WWF games or WCW games or Mario Kart or whatever it was, man. So that one's probably the most nostalgic for me. What about you?
I'm going to cop out and say, out of all time, my favorite would probably be a computer. I'm a computer gamer more than anything. And that's even way back to the day where it was like regular SimCity and stuff. But I mean, you can count it as a console, but it shouldn't, because it's not really a console, right? Number one was a regular Nintendo that I got. Probably for me, I would say my favorite is the Nintendo 64. It was the first one I bought myself. I'll never forget. I had a job young, remember, and I went to the store. All my friends had PlayStations too, and I just didn't want one. I didn't like the load times, the discs, and all that. The graphics were great. I loved the games. I was a member of Nintendo Power. Remember, I had that magazine.
I was too.
So I went and bought it, and I bought a ton of games, and I spent my hard-earned money on it. I loved it. But I will say I had a Sega Genesis longer than anything. Well, I mean, I had a Nintendo before that, but I played the Sega Genesis so much, and all my friends got Super Nintendos, and I remember I got a Sega Genesis, and I was so happy I did.
I loved, so same thing. So at my dad's house, he got me a Nintendo 64, and I don't know if it was for me or me and my stepsister at the time or whatever, but needless to say, that's where it was. But I lived with my mom primarily. And so my mom, I had a Sega Genesis. So I played more Sega Genesis than I did Nintendo all day long. Sonic, dude, I remember there were nights, Sonic 2 specifically, where I was trying to beat it. And it was so hard. And I'd get to like the last level and die after spending however many hours it took to get to the last level. And the thing that pisses me off is this generation, they just like pause their game, they walk away, they come back, they're right there. Like that didn't exist back when we were kids, dude.
No, I mean, like you couldn't just save it. You couldn't just like, you had to play through. Like there's games that I remember sometimes more than consoles. I'll say that. But I think one thing that always made me mad, my sister was always the queen of beating every game first. I remember she beat Mario World in our house first. She beat Sonic 1 and 2 first in my household, which I find amazing. You hung out with my sister, sweet as pie, nicest, just regular girly girl. But dude, she can play games, man. Like I remember when she taught me the trick in Mario Brothers where you could jump on the turtle shell forever and get unlimited lives.
Really?
Like you know you can do that? So when you're climbing up like those bricks to get to the castle and that turtle's coming down at you. I don't remember what world it is. Maybe like World 7 or something. You can jump on the turtle shell infinite times. Like if you hit it just right, and it'll give you tons of lives. Oh my! And you just do it until time runs out. And so she'd get to the point where the lives are so big, they're not even numbers. It does like the squid with a triangle. Like no joke, dude. Next time you come over to, and if my sister's in town, she'll show you. She can still do it to this day. It's amazing. Wow. And it was just stuff like that. But I loved the little things. I don't know if you know this because I had a little brother. On Duck Hunt, if you plug in the controller while somebody's trying to play, you can control the dog and make the game never start.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sonic. You can control Tails.
Yes. And
so there were things that I love to do. I think one of my favorite hacks like that with a console, did you know on Pod Racer for Nintendo 64 for Star Wars, you could plug a controller into player 1 and player 3 and drive it like a real pod with joysticks? You know who taught me that? One of our Bleach Bros, Jim. The other
That's
original
incredible.
OG.
I didn't even know that.
He taught me that. Yeah, no, so I'd say the other thing I'll remember about Nintendo 64 is I remember in 8th grade when you moved away, we had to do booths at the junior high. Like, like you would do like a carnival or whatever to raise money. And we won and we destroyed everybody. But then some parents got mad that we won they said we cheated because all we did was hook up a bunch of TVs and we had 2 Nintendo 64s and we had a tournament between Mario Kart and GoldenEye. And just let people play and they paid their tickets. And of course, every young boy was just in our booth all day watching this tournament go on. Now, I will ask you this, because you're a Nintendo 64 fan like me. What's a better 4-player game with your bros on an old school, like 1998 evening with Pizza Hut and some Blockbuster Mountain Dew? Are you plugging in Mario Kart 64 or are you plugging in GoldenEye?
Damn you. Damn you, Jacob. Damn it. Okay. That's so hard.
This is
so
a hard one, dude.
I'm going to go with GoldenEye. And the reason why I'm going to go with GoldenEye is because if you get the proximity mines in the caves, which I was really good at doing, then you would destroy every asshole that's in the room.
You're the reason I don't want to pick it, because I was going to say I was the guy that didn't know how to use proximity mines correctly, because I was always putting the one where it's all glass, that one level, the golden gun level essentially as it should be. And I love proximity mines, but nobody would fall for it. So it was just one of those things like whatever. I'm all about Mario Kart because I'd rather have the ingenuity of the driving and all the, like, my favorite level is the one where there was all the, like the big blocks. Yeah, yes. The best level ever. Who were you when you played Mario Kart?
Oh, Bowser, dude.
Oh, me too. Oh, okay. We're one of the same. Are you 100%. One of those guys that you were convinced a different color controller was better too?
Yes.
Were you the clear color controllers or just the solids?
I was the red.
Oh, I was yellow. Banana yellow like Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Makes more sense.
You're a yellow belly pony soldier, whatever that saying is. So this brings me to this. What's a better game? Because people have a preference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect Dark or GoldenEye?
GoldenEye.
See, I'm right there with you. There's a lot of people that will swear by Perfect Dark, and while Perfect Dark is a good game, it just wasn't GoldenEye. What was your best single player game on a 64?
For me playing, like, stats wise and stuff?
Stats wise or story, either way.
Rogue Squadron.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Actually, no, I take it back. Star Fox. I was trying to go
Fox,
because here's why.
Really?
And here's why though, B-Word. I got so good at it in the sense I was trying to set the record in Nintendo Power where I could beat the game in 23 minutes. And I think the record at the time, and I could be wrong, I think it was like 18 minutes or something. And I was trying because I could go the hard way and get through it faster. And I was really good. I loved the Top Gun move where you pulled the brakes and went around people. But I was, and I don't know if what's the time, and I could be wrong on those times, but it was that, yeah. And I actually made Nintendo Power for Rogue Squadron. So,
what's your favorite Sega game?
Sega Genesis?
Yeah.
Separation Anxiety, a Spider-Man one.
Damn it, that one's good.
Sonic 2. I'm a big classic. The most disappointing game for me was Vector Man. I remember Garrett Marcotte in, I think it was 3rd or 4th grade, was so excited about this game coming out. He goes, I can't wait to get home. Because he would always tell me about the new games. He was that friend, you had that friend that just had unlimited, you could tell had unlimited, his parents would let him get any game. Yeah. Where he'd always go rent. He was the first one to go rent it. I remember he told me about the video game Comic Zone. Do you remember that one?
No.
Where it was a comic being drawn the whole time you're playing.
Okay.
And so it was like trying to be a new age. And I remember he told me about that. And then he was telling me about Vector Man coming out. And I was all excited. And then I played it and I was like, this game isn't that fun. Have you ever played Vector Man?
No.
Just a big green blobby dude. It's sort of boring. You know what's an underrated game though? Fucking Booger Man, bro. Yeah. Booger Man is one of the just great.
I knew you were going to say that because Booger Man's one of my favorites, dude.
It's like Ren and Stimpy meets a Sega game. And not that they didn't have a Ren and Stimpy game, but you know what I mean? Like as a hero.
No, Booger Man. Timeline. I spent a lot of time playing Booger Man. Booger Man was incredible. I loved it. I will tell you, like, my trifecta of Sega games, though. Mm-hmm. And I was gonna say this before you brought that up. One of them was Booger Man. Okay. The other one was Altered Beast.
Okay.
And then the other one was Road Rash.
Okay. Road Rash 3 is the best one where you go to Africa.
I don't remember which one it was, but yeah.
Oh, dude, that was the World Tour one. I used to blast X1075, and I remember when I was playing Road Rash 3, Marilyn Manson released Highway to Hell, like his version of it. And when that song came on, I was so pumped to play that game. I would blast it in my room. And that's the thing. There was moments like that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like even if kids play video games now, they don't listen to other music behind it. They listen to the soundtrack or the headphones on and all that. Like, we had so many things. We had cassette players going. We had our phone on, probably talking on the phone to somebody, playing that. Multitasking to the max, bro.
Yeah, it was good. We always had stereos going. Like, that was always a thing.
What's the worst Nintendo 64 game you played?
The worst one?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Hold on. I'm going to look it up here real quick because it was a WWF game.
Oh, was that the WWF Attitude?
Yes, that's the one.
God, that game is
that
so
one
bad,
was terrible.
Yeah.
That one was terrible. I think the biggest takeaway of that game is the fact that on 64 bits, you actually saw The Rock remove his elbow.
Yeah.
Or his, but it's a terrible game, dude. I used to love those wrestling games. I used to love them a lot.
WCW had the best ones at the time for video games.
WCW versus NWO for sure.
Turok was the most disappointing game for me on Nintendo 64.
Oh.
Everybody made it out to be this amazing game. And I was just like, I played it and I was like, I'm not into this. There's not a lot of single player games besides, and I know you asked me this, but Zelda is probably the greatest game of all time.
Zelda is one of the greatest games. And may I add, she was hot. Doesn't matter how many bits she was.
Yeah.
She was damn gorgeous. I don't know. I think an underrated single player game was Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. I think that's just a really good time. Like, when you look at like 92 to 98, 99, there were so many good game consoles. There were so many good games.
So many good treats. We had good snacks. We had good candy, good snacks, good games, good music. Dude, it was just, I don't know. It was a good time. Like, there's not a lot of things I would want to go back and redo again. Like high school, hell no. But like that, dude, those moments.
Yeah.
Hanging out with my bro, like riding my bike over to your house and hanging out and playing games all night and you showing me Terminator boobies. I'm all about that, dude. Now, I'm gonna transition this way. You brought up A Perfect Dark, okay?
Yeah.
And I want to bring back B.Ex.O.
Okay.
So Baby Mama.
Baby Mama, ex-wife, and One Night Stand. So, and with this, it's just like fuck, marry, kill, but we're nicer here. So the first one I'm going to give you is Joanna Dark from A Perfect Dark, Zelda, and if you need to look it up, Taki from Soul Calibur. Oh, I don't think I've ever played Soul Calibur.
Oh, I love Soul Calibur, dude. One of our fans, Aaron Yap, so you shut your Aaron Yap. He was that guy that would like play by himself and like practice all the moves over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so we used to play Soul Calibur 2 all the time. That was the one where you can unlock Link from Zelda and play him in the game, which was awesome. But
so Taki looks a lot like Chun-Li.
Right.
So, all right. So it's Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda would be my ex-wife. Because I said I got it.
Okay.
Like there's a legal document that said I was attached to it once, right?
Do you change your name to her? Do you give Brian Zelda?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay,
I would just shorten it to be B-Zeld.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm all about that life. Baby Mama would be Taki.
Okay.
I have a thing for Asians, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then One Night Stand would be Joanna Dark.
In The Perfect Dark.
In A Perfect Dark, yeah. I'd turn the light on though. I'd leave a light on for it.
Beauty's only a light switch away though, bro.
It's true, man. Same thing as length too. Let me tell you. All right, man. So let me give you 3 here real quick.
Okay.
Arguably, every boy's dream as a video game character was Lara Croft, right? So Lara Croft from
Triangle
from Tomb Raider.
boobs. Yeah.
Triangle boobs. She was the Tesla truck of boobies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Lara Croft, Princess Peach, and Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, one night stand Miss Pac-Man.
Really? Why?
Oh, dude, I want her to swallow. I want to see how far. I mean, I'm happy with what I got, so I want to see how this goes down. All, dude, all at once. One night stand, and I'm seeing where it goes. I'm grabbing the bow and I'm going to town, dude. It'd be like trying to hump a yoga ball. Like, yeah, like you just rolling on the floor, open for the best. And if I die from it, then I chase her as a ghost. So it's a win-win, right? So who was it? Was so, and then it was Laura Croft or who?
And Princess Peach.
Oh God, Princess Peach's baby mama. Or no, Princess Peach's ex-wife. So I can sue her and get the castle because she had the money and she did it to me. She cheated on me with a little Italian plumber. And
Which
then
one?
I guess that means what's up?
Which one did she cheat on you with?
Oh, DP, dude. It was both at the same time. It was, dude, they were giving her the old Walt Disney Towers. And then I guess baby mama's Laura Croft. I mean, she's always traveling, so she doesn't have time for me. Okay. I'm going to do this list because you gave me two of them that I have written out. So Laura Croft, Peach, or Chun-Li.
That's basically the same thing that I just gave
I know,
you,
that's why I'm doing it, because you gave me those. I want to hear your answers.
Laura Croft is going to be one night stand. Because I think it'd be fun, but she's got those two guns that.
Are you going for new age or old age?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because I'm either going to have a new age dick or an old age dick. And either way, dude,
big, bro. You got 8 big balls.
It's just going to be a flat line.
Like Leisure Suit Larry's Lounge.
Oh, I fucking love Leisure Suit Larry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but dude, that was a great game.
Leisure Suit Larry. Did you have Poteet for computers?
Yeah, we were in the same class. You put it on my computer. We put it in the hidden file, and we'd all play it all day and laugh, and he'd walk around, and we were wondering what was going on.
Fucking love that. Okay, so the other one was Chun-Li. Chun-Li is going to be baby mama.
Okay.
And so Princess Peach is going to be ex-wife.
Same reason as me.
Same reason as you.
Okay.
Same reason as you. All right. So let's go with Elena Fisher from Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
Elsa from Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm.
Or Sonya Blade.
Oh, yeah. Sonya. Oh, I want to keep Sonya for all three. Sonya's my one night stand because I feel she's going to try to make me join the gym after seeing my body, and her legs are going to hurt me. Who was the first one again from Uncharted? What's her name?
Elena Fisher. She's
my baby mama. Same reason as Laura Croft. She's always traveling, and so the last one's my ex-wife.
Elsa,
sure, good for her. She sucks. That's why she's my ex-wife. I didn't even remember her name. she divorces me based on that. You didn't even acknowledge me. All right, so Rain from Blood Rain, Morrigan from Marvel vs. Capcom, the girl with the Batwing like helmet and dude, yeah. And then Jaina Proudmoore from World of Warcraft.
Okay, so I've never played World of Warcraft.
Look up Jaina Proudmoore. You'll be proud of her education.
Okay.
She's got some good degrees.
Okay. So Jaina Proudmoore, and then we've got Rain, and what was the third one?
Morrigan.
Okay. So Morrigan's gonna be one night stand.
Okay.
Because
it's like fucking a furry, bro.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Jaina Proudmoore, God, she's hot, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big fan.
Dude, they're like
if the audience could see your face on the screen, you like instantly like lit up. Like all of a sudden I see you're sort of doing your thing, and then you just looked up, and it was just like bro, when a kid sees boobs for the first time.
I'm just telling you, she is well educated.
Yeah, very well educated.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So she's gonna be ex-wife. Because there's that. And then Rain is going to be baby mama.
Okay. Rain scares me.
She does. She does. I would pay child support because she would scare me. So,
yeah.
Okay. So, Bastilla Shawn from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
Jackie Brigg from Mortal Kombat. Or, let's see, Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy.
Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy's One Night Stand. Just got to see how that is. Knights of the Old Republic, Bastilla is going to be baby mama. I want a Jedi in the family that I can turn into a Sith. And who was that last one again?
Jackie Brigg, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Jackie Brigg is going to be ex-wife. She hates me. She scares me too, and her dad's going to kick my ass. So I don't want to deal with any of that. All right, let's get a little weird. Not too weird, but just enough. Cortana from Halo.
Okay.
Alloy from Horizon Zero Dark.
I've never played that. Let me look it up.
Okay, and it's ALOY. So,
Okay.
And then Samus, and you can do Zero Suit or in a robot suit, whatever you're into.
It would be the robot suit.
Really?
Actually, it would be
when
the
you
Zero
thought
suit.
she was a dude back in the day.
Yeah, no, it would be the Zero Suit. So Zero Suit Samus from Metroid. Is it Metroid Prime? Is that the game?
Metroid Prime, yeah, or Super Metroid, whatever Metroid, yeah.
Okay, so she's going to be One Night Stand.
Okay.
Actually, no. Let's move her to ex-wife because I have a thought process and it's process of elimination here.
Okay.
So what was the other one? The other
Cortana from Halo, and then Alloy.
So Cortana from Halo is going to be One Night Stand because I got.
You feel like you'd be like fucking Alexa.
Yeah, and that's why I got to know. It just
sorry, your request denied.
Yeah, just
sorry.
Like
B word. Here, I've just ordered you some pills for erectile dysfunction.
It'd be like, hey Google, orgasm my dick.
I wish you had a Google in your room right now and it would have answered you. That'd be like me. Hey Alexa, Google my dick. Oh, there she is.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And so by default, Alloy would be baby mama.
Okay, she's not bad looking.
No, she's not terrible. She is so. Just real quick, I'm going to change the subject, but for good reason here. So she reminds me of Brienne of Tarth, and
yeah.
I got a thing of from Brienne of Tarth. Like she's this tall tree.
That's why
of a man-looking woman.
Yeah,
and I don't
strong like bull.
Yeah, but the porn stash guys, they actually like put her against Daenerys Targaryen, and that's like the stupidest matchup you could have done that with on their rankings. So,
dude, that's just a hateful matchup.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I'm like Team Brienne of Tarth right now.
You're like the somebody put that GIF. I saw you commenting on it, of the red haired dude from the travel commercials that was in that show.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name. Just all about her on his horse. Like, yeah.
All right, man. So my turn.
Yep.
So Kazumi Mishima from Tekken.
Okay.
Hunter from Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Or Evie Fry from Assassin's Creed.
Ooh. Evie Fry is One Night Stand. Kazumi is ex-wife. We don't understand each other. And so process of elimination is baby mama last one. And I wanted to put Kazumi as baby mama because I want a ninja in the family, but then I realized it's not going to work out that way. So I'll end up with like a little baby Yotzi Mitsu or something. By the way, favorite character in that game. So that was fun, B-Word. I love B.Ex.O. B.Ex.O is always a good time. The thing, I will say this, the only downside is, and looking up for this list, almost all video game girls are the same.
Yeah.
And I know people have argued with me on that comic book girls are, and they're not. They're not.
No.
They're nowhere
comic
close
book
to
girls are not the same.
No.
But speaking of comic books and speaking of video games,
okay,
we're going to introduce a new Everlasting segment tonight. So we already have the Everlasting Jukebox.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Everlasting Bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
We've introduced recently the Everlasting Movie Reel. And this one will complete our Everlasting segment. We're going to do the Everlasting Game Console.
Perfect.
And so with the Everlasting Game Console, tonight we've talked a little bit about video games. We've talked a little about some video game hotties. We've talked a little bit about Thor, who's a superhero. What a better time to rank our top 5 superhero video games with 2 honorable mentions. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready to put it. Now, the only question is on this, because we're introducing the segment. When we introduce the game, it doesn't matter what bit, right? No matter what console, right? It is just
any platform.
Perfect.
And it's superhero, so it doesn't need to be Marvel, DC, superhero games. And you can rank it however you want to. I'm going to go off of playability, or at least time I've spent playing it, as well as I like the storyline. So that's what I'm going to go with off of this.
Yeah, graphics is not, and this is going to show our age. Graphics is not going to be the highest point on this for me.
No,
because
not at all.
I like gameplay more than anything. Storyline's great. I think the one thing that graphics does is it helps with if you're going to do a really good storyline, like video wise, right? Like, 8-bit games, you don't want to see a whole movie montage of that crap. So I'm going to let you start with your 2 honorable mentions first, B-Word.
So my first honorable mention comes from the Nintendo Entertainment System from 1989, Batman the video game.
The original Batman?
I absolutely loved Batman the video game. My memories of that are trying to crawl up this wall with Batman, where you had to jump from one wall to the other wall, back to the wall, back to the other wall. And I think I spent probably 4 days trying to figure that out because I was too noob to try to figure it out. I just didn't understand it. And then once a friend of mine came over and played that game with me, he actually got me past that level. And it was damn good from there, dude. Batman the video game, NES is my first honorable mention. What's your first?
I think this is a cop-out, and it's also why it makes my honorable mention and not top 5, but Earthworm Jim.
Oh, I love Earthworm Jim.
Well, no, I love the game. And he's a hero, but he was a superhero created in the video game realm. So that's why it can't, because when I hear superhero, I think of the big ones that are already existing in other forms and other platforms that do that. Now, mind you, Earthworm Jim did get a cartoon and stuff like that came from it, but it all started as a video game. 1994, and then 1995, Earthworm Jim 2 came out. Sega Genesis, amazing game. Big fan. It was one of those games, too. The sound effects were awesome.
Yeah,
the 2D animation scrolling was awesome. So Earthworm Jim's my first honorable mention. My second one is only because this was originally just an arcade game. So you had to go to the arcade to play it, and not that pulls it out, but playability, that means you had to have a lot of quarters or a lot of time or be able to go to somewhere like that. They didn't release it, I think, until like the mid to late 2000s in the sense of like 2000 to 2010. I think it was 2009 or something. And it was X-Men, the arcade game.
Oh, yeah.
Not the X-Men for the Genesis, the X-Men arcade game where Wolverine's in his brown and yellow. That game slaps, dude. That game's fucking great. But as I said, you had to go to the arcade.
That game didn't make my list for similar reasons, and I have a similar pick as an honorable mention for that reason as well. Marvel versus Capcom.
Okay,
I loved Marvel versus Capcom, but similar to X-Men, that was primarily an arcade game that you had to have a bunch of quarters, you had to have a bunch of time. I didn't grow up with a whole bunch of money. I grew up with a bunch of time, but it was done doing chores or sports or whatever it was. But yeah, Marvel versus Capcom, a lot of good memories on that one. That one was really fun.
That's good. Now, when you played it, did you play more Marvel characters than video game characters?
No, I played the Capcom characters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before you get into this list, are yours actually ranked 1 through 5
They
or
are.
whatever? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you start this off, and you give me your number 5. We're going to go backwards like usual that you're putting into the Everlasting Game Console.
So number 5 is Injustice. I had
Great
Injustice for the Xbox or the Xbox 360, I guess it was. Incredible storyline for first player. Better multiplayer, like the fact that you can choose between all these players to fight with. Injustice, I would love to see eventually that actually becomes more media whether they do. I think they may have done an animated film for Injustice.
Yeah.
If DC could pull their shit together and get an actual Injustice film, like I'd probably cream myself, dude. Like especially if it's done well, I would totally be about Injustice. So that's number 5.
But on that point, and just the media side of it, we were saying how they made the animated film. We had the other Bleach Bro, Mitch, on, and he said, why make that movie when we've already had the video game explain it all out? And I'm sort of in that point because I think that's also a cop-out. Video games don't make great movies. It's been proven time and time again.
I agree with you, but it doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to see it, especially done well on the big screen. I can think of another game, and this one was on the PS4 that I played it. The Last of Us, that's coming onto an Xbox HBO Max series. I only played the first game. The second game didn't get very well reviewed, so I didn't play that. But the storyline on that one was fucking incredible. And if they made that into a series, I think that'd be great, especially if it's a limited series. So I do find value in video games having films. I do think that there's probably more of a chance that the film is going to collapse than not. So I understand the point of that. But anyway, okay. What's yours?
Mine's out of the DC realm too. Batman Arkham Asylum. That's my favorite one out of those games, 2009. Great storyline, great game, great gameplay, a lot of fun. It was cool to see the bat suit they made for that. I think that's one of my favorite things about any new Batman media is the unique bat suit. I mean, the really long bat ears. I'm a big fan. I mean, comic wise and live action, I love the tiny ears, like the bat fleck. But those were just awesome to play. So I would say Batman Arkham Asylum. It was also one of those games too. It's fluid. The gameplay is very good. It's not very, in my opinion, it wasn't very choppy. It wasn't hard to get things done. It wasn't like those games you'd play back in the game. Like if you're watching Angry Video Game Nerd or whatever on YouTube and you're seeing him going, I can't pick up the fucking box. And you're just like, I got to hit L plus X. And it's a great game. So Batman Arkham Asylum is number 5.
The gameplay on that was really easy. That's my number 4 is Batman Arkham Asylum. So like you, I love the fact that they introduced a new suit for Batman. The gameplay was super easy. Like it wasn't very difficult to try to figure it out at all. And when I say super easy, I mean, it was challenging, but it wasn't difficult to try to figure out how to play it. Like if you've never played it before, you can walk right into it and learn it relatively quickly. And I appreciate that with games because I'm not all that, smart when it comes to video games. I want push button. I want do and it did that.
Push
for
go.
Me.
Yeah.
Push go. Yeah. So what's your number 4?
Number 4 for me is one you sort of mentioned, but it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay.
And the reason is I played that a lot in the arcade. And I actually have a little story I'm going to tell about that game, but also I downloaded it for when I got my PlayStation 3 from the PlayStation Store. So I played that one a lot at home. That was the one where I loved. My team up was usually I had Venom, War Machine, and then I'd pick a random character from there. I always played more Marvel characters, but I remember I was getting really good at that game or I thought I was. I'm going to say this. I thought I was getting really good at that game. And that was in the time when I was playing more computer games. I was really good at World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And my friends were all at a video game tournament in Vegas. So I decided to enter into the Marvel vs. Capcom one, top prize $50,000, right? I get up on stage or up to play in my round, and there's like a little 8-year-old Korean boy that walks up. I've never lost a video game so fast and felt so unsatisfied that I just looked at him and he smiled and laughed and I got off stage. I got whooped by this kid probably in 30 seconds both times, and I didn't even know what to do with myself. And I just realized, I'm not that good at this game. But it was just fun. It's fun. It's old school, like Street Fighter style, like that, like really cool graphics for the way it is. And just really good. I love fighting games that have a huge character catalog. Yeah. I mean, the thing I like about new age ones is, you introduce characters like Freddy or Jason into Mortal Kombat and stuff. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is on here, but they just have a place in my heart, dude. Fucking love those games. So what's your next one?
They're good, man. So I'm going to go with on my next one here. It came out in 2018. came out for the PlayStation, I believe exclusively. I have a PlayStation, so if it's out there for something else, correct me. But Marvel's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Great. So first off, great storyline. You almost expect, because of what the MCU was doing with Spider-Man at the time, that it would tie in with that. Well, you can make an argument that it tied in with that, as it was its own storyline. It was great gameplay. It was open world. I appreciated that. There were all of these things that you can go accomplish, side stories and quests and all that sort of stuff. But the main gameplay was great. The storyline sucked you in. The acting, in as far as the characters go, as far as the storyline, was pretty incredible, actually. I really appreciated that for what it was. Now, granted, it's much different than if you're on a Sega Genesis, right? So PlayStation 4 is a lot better technology. But Marvel's Spider-Man was really, really fun. It's one of those ones that after you beat it, you want to go back and get all the side quests just to spend more time playing the game. So that one is it for me. What about you?
Nice. Mine is a Spider-Man game, but it's for Sega Genesis. And I said it earlier, Separation Anxiety. It's the sequel to Maximum Carnage. I think it came out in 95. But it was the one I remember getting the most. It has Venom and the symbiotes on the cover. I know it follows loosely Lethal Protector, which is a great series. Yeah. Venom. And Venom's my favorite character of all time. So it was cool to be able to be him and team up with Spider-Man in that one. Yeah. I didn't get the greatest reviews, but for me, it was just me and my brother. We could play that nonstop. It was awesome. And so that's my number 3. I will say my number 2, I'm only going to mention because you just talked about it, and it was the Spider-Man from 2018. So I haven't played it all the way through, but I loved all the suits and everything I have done on it. Plus, it's another one like Arkham Asylum. Great streamlined gameplay, beautiful graphics, great cutscenes, great storyline. I cheated and watched the cutscenes later because I just don't have time to sit and play video games all day anymore. But that's why I'll skip to 2 on that one. So since I did that, who do you got next, Bword?
So my number 2 is Batman Arkham City.
Okay.
So we have, I think, did both of us? No, I picked my number 4 as Batman Arkham Asylum. You put your number 5 was Batman Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham City was a lot bigger. It was more world play. I love the open world theme. Like when we were young, especially in multiplayer stuff, everything was quarantined, if you will, in a certain area. Like you think of like the difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield as an example. Call of Duty, you have a course, if you will, whereas Battlefield, it's open gameplay. I like the fact that Arkham City was very much like Marvel's Spider-Man in a sense where there were all these different side quests that you can do. But from a technological standpoint, a storyline standpoint, the voices that they were able to bring in for the characters, the suits for Batman, man, it was perfect. It was a really, it's actually very hard for me to put it in my number 2. But when you hear my number 1, you'll understand why this is number 2. Because this one arguably could be number 1.
Okay. So with that, B-word, my number 1 is Turtles 2, the arcade for regular Nintendo. And the reason is I
cannot hate on you for that.
I don't hate, but the regular Ninja Turtles game for the first one sucks. It's hard. That's why it sucks. It's so hard. I don't know. It's not as, this one was fun because it's called the arcade game. I know it's based off the arcade game. They released it, but it just reminded you of, that was the game that you can invite your friends over and play a bunch with. That was one of the first games I would do that with. Me and my brother played together, and you couldn't do that with the first Ninja Turtles. And I was such a huge Ninja Turtle fan that I was like, this is the game for me. I loved beating up the Mousers. I mean, I was always Michelangelo. My brother was always Donatello, but that game for me was probably the quintessential, like, best superhero fun time that I could really remember. Almost like in that sense of Mario Kart, where I could sit around with a bunch of friends, come over, put in that cartridge, and have a fucking blast.
I can't hate on you for that, man. That's a good game. It's a really good game. It didn't make my top 5 or my honorable mentions, but my number 1 didn't make yours either. My number 1 is Booger Man.
That's sad, as we talked about it earlier, and I was thinking, as I was talking about it, I'm going, I know I have this list that we got to talk about tonight, and I'm not going to say, and I'm saying how great this game is. It doesn't even make my fucking list. It's sort of like Earthworm Jim, though, to me. Like, he's a made up.
Yeah, it is a made up superhero, but he's a superhero nonetheless. And so when we're talking about superhero video games, that's where I couldn't look past Booger Man and all of the hours as a kid that I spent playing that game. You had the ability to get more snot and farts, and as a kid, dude, that's exactly what I was looking for. And that game to me is the most nostalgic one that I can log in as a superhero video game. So I got to lock it in as my number one.
I will say those are both very good picks. Very, very cool that we jumped a lot of different consoles. We didn't just go all new age. You went a little more new age than me. I went a more nostalgic route, I think. But for the first time that we did the Everlasting Console, this was a lot of fun. I'd play any of these games multiplayer with you, B-Word. So it just depends who you pick, though. Like if I put in Turtles, who are you picking?
Oh, Michelangelo.
See, get it out of here. You can't play with me then. No, bye.
Why? Because you're going to pick Michelangelo?
Yeah, I can't be anybody else, dude.
Okay, so is that your favorite turtle though?
Oh yeah, by far.
Okay, my favorite turtle is actually Donatello. I don't know why. I have no clue why. I think it's because he's got the purple mask and it's just different than from the other ones. But he's also seems to be like he wasn't Leonardo where he was smart, and he wasn't Michelangelo where he was just like crazy, and he wasn't Raphael where he was angry all the time. He was just like the down to earth guy. He was probably
Donatello's the smart one. Donatello's the one that creates all this stuff.
Yeah, but I'm okay. When I said Leonardo, I meant Leo is smart because he's the leader.
No, he's just a leader. That doesn't mean he's smart. It just means he's good at being grounded.
Well, fine. Then he's smart for employing a smart purple ninja turtle. So there you go.
Before we get too deep in this, because we'll go on forever, I will say, great segment, B-Word. Good job on the games. We'll chalk that up. We will do another of these everlasting segments because the fans love them. And thank you also for everybody's input on our. And I'm sorry we didn't get to it tonight, but on all of our social media, I know a lot of people commented about consoles, and it seemed like. I don't know if we have younger fans or all these people just didn't grow up and just bought a lot of consoles.
I don't know, man. I saw a lot of SNES comments.
Oh, well, I never had one, so I don't count.
Well, I think from all the comments that I saw, the SNES was probably the more popular one on our list. But
okay.
Well, with that, man, we're going to throw it over to the president of the Salty Hippo Nation, Gunner. And Gunner, what do you got for us?
Thanks for the dirt talk. Come back and get sanitized.
This is Jake from the Bleach Bros podcast, and thank you for listening to today's episode. I want to bring to your attention our Linktree. Visit Linktree/Bleach Bros podcast for access to all of our socials, merch, and streaming sites. Linktree is linktr.ee/Bleach Bros podcast, all one word. And if you enjoy our content, make sure to give us a like, give us a review on whatever platform you are listening on, and also invite your friends.